Okay, we learned the 3 most common payment methods. Now let's discuss how to send an invoice. Regarding of the payment method, in order to complete the invoicing process, you will need the following items: rate confirmation, signed bill of lading, check for lumper fee payments if applicable. So if the driver did pay for a lumper, ask him to send you a photo or a scan of the check. And of course the invoice itself. Now, how do we know where to send it? Usually you will check on the rate confirmation. I found yet another old rate confirmation in my email and I'll use it to demonstrate. Okay, so here's a sample rate confirmation I found that we're going to use for invoicing, and here is a sample invoice I've prepared for you guys. I mean, it's as simple as it gets. Honestly, you can get any other invoice template if you want, or create your own. It's up to you, but this one works just fine. So what do we have here? Your company, that's where you put the name of the carrier that you're working with right now, on behalf of whom you're submitting this invoice. So if I'm working with my customer's Dimitri Logistics, that's what I'm going to put. When I'm working with the next customer, I'll just put a different name over here. And I have to fill out the address and the phone number. And then invoice submitted on, we can see here, let's see this rate confirmation. What do we have? This is a rate confirmation from Three Rivers Logistics, picking up in Elizabeth, New Jersey, delivering in Bolingbrook, Illinois. I can see that this one is delivering on 22nd of January 2021. So that, I would imagine, would be the date when I'm submitting this invoice. So I can very quickly put here 2021. So that would be the date when the invoice is submitted. And then invoice 4, name, company name, street address. You don't have to put the name of the person, it's not necessary, but here we have dispatcher Houston Daniels. Well, actually, this is a little bit confusing because he is a dispatcher for a brokerage company. In a brokerage company, a dispatcher is somebody who's selling the freight, who's communicating with carriers. So he's a dispatcher for the brokerage, you're a dispatcher for the carrier company, and you are the 2 people who are arranging the transportation of this freight. Okay, since we have his name, Houston Daniels, I can input it here in the name, and then company name I can find right over here. Three Rivers Logistics is the name of their company, and I have the address here as well. 60 Dog Boy Road. Interesting name. Let's put it like this. You can make it a little prettier if you want, but it doesn't really matter as long as all the information is there. That's all that matters. City, state, zip. I have it. Invoice number. So it depends on your carrier how they want to number their invoices. Some carriers number them one by one, so they go like invoice number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each next invoice is the next number. Some carriers number the invoices based on the load number. So for example, I can go here, I can see load number 218142, and that's going to be the number of the invoice. You can check with the carrier if you're providing the invoicing services for them. You can check with them if they have a preference on how to number the invoices. And due date, I'm going to fill that out in a moment. And then a description, load number. Once again, I can actually input the load number here as well. It's okay if the number is shown multiple times, it's not a problem. Price. How much was this load paying? Let's check. I didn't actually check. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there you go. $1,400 is amount to invoice. So this load is paying $1,400. So total price. This has formulas. So you do not actually put the total price, you put units, so quantity 1. We moved 1 load for them. Sometimes you're going to be submitting multiple invoices. You can put multiple loads in one invoice if you want. I don't usually do it, but some people do it. And unit price is 1,400. There you go. Total price came to 1,400, and that's our subtotal. If we have any additional charges, so maybe added detention, added layover, I don't know, added lumper fee payments, we can put that in the additional charges, and then the formula will calculate the total price for us. Any notes? if any notes are required, and for the due date. So now we've pretty much filled out the whole invoice, and now we need to see where do we send it and what's going to be the due date for the payment. On the rate confirmation, especially if we scroll to the very bottom, there you go, for freight payment. So this is a note for a dispatcher or for an accountant or for whoever is going to be sending the invoices. What do we have here? Email bills and invoice along with any unloading receipts to payables@threeriverslogistics.com. So there you go, we already know where to send the invoice. Next one, beginning May 1st, 2019, our standard payment will be made in 7 days via direct deposit. So this is actually amazing. It's not 30 days, it's not 20 days, it's not 25 days. They're going to be paying within 7 days via direct deposit, so the money will go directly into the carrier's bank account, and they're not charging anything extra for it, so that's fantastic. They're promising to pay within 7 days. Okay, our invoice date is 01/22, so let's put the due date in 7 days after that. You can use the calendar or you can just input this. So 7 days after the 22, that's going to be the 29th, 2021. There you go, due date done. I would fill out this, but we don't have a specific company. But that's it. That's it. The invoice is filled out. We know exactly where to send it. Now we're going to download it, send it to payables@threeriverslogistics.com. Let's just see what else they have. If you haven't already done so in the last few weeks, please send Avoid the check along with your bills and invoice so that we can set up your direct deposit. So what is Avoid the check? You know, in the US, they still use bank checks, and Avoid the check is just a check that's been crossed out, so nobody can use this check anymore. Why are they asking for Avoid the check? Because actually every single bank check contains all the needed information for direct deposit. So on a check, you will see a bank account number, routing numbers, name of the bank, address of the bank, basically all of the information they need to set up the carrier for direct deposit. So instead of just asking for all of this information, they're simply saying, please submit Avoid the check. So if they don't have Avoid the check on file for this carrier, we can ask the carrier to send us Avoid the check and we can attach it to the invoice, and this way the carrier will be paid in 7 days via direct deposit. Please check with payables@threeriverslogistics.com about any quick pay or non-standard payment options. So they're saying if you want quick pay, maybe you want to get paid even faster within 1 day, then you can send them an email and just send an inquiry, say, hey, I'm interested in a quick pay option, what can you offer me? That's it. What's left to do? Just send an email. We already know where to send it. In the email subject, it's best to specify the load number so that it's easier for their accountant to locate. For example, invoice for load number 218142 from Dmitry Logistics. In the email, we attach all the documents, rate confirmation, bill of lading, and the invoice. Plus, the broker asks to send Avoid the check for payment to the bank account. If it has not yet been sent, we ask the carrier for it and we attach it. If you're providing an invoicing service for your carrier, I also recommend that you create a simple spreadsheet and keep a record of when each invoice was sent and when the payment is expected. That's it, the job is done. If I did it during working hours without taking time for explanation, it wouldn't take me more than 5 minutes. I will not do a separate demonstration for quick pay and factoring. For these methods, each case is different. All you need to do is follow instructions. As you saw in the case of this broker, Three Rivers Logistics, they want you to send an email to their payables department and inquire about quick pay options. They will reply to you with terms and instructions. They might ask you to send invoices to a different email or to mark them differently in order to get quick pay. When it comes to factoring, each company also has their own process. Some will provide you with a link or an online portal and explain how to use it. Some might just provide an email address and ask to send all invoices there. All of these instructions will be provided by your carrier or directly by his factoring company. So, let's summarize quickly and move on to the next lesson. You already know what standard pay, quick pay and factoring are. You now have an invoice template that you can use to work with any carrier. Now you can safely say that you know how to issue transportation invoices and add this skill to your resume.